Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So welcome to our Black Friday special webinar. Thanks all to those that are joining live and also to you that are watching it back. Chris Spur is our loyalty account executive today. He'll be running through what you can do to get ready for Black Friday. And also talk a bit about our special offer, our special fast track offer at the end. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get going. As you may have already seen, we are recording the webinar, which will be available afterwards. As you mentioned, put your questions in the chat, or feel free to at the end to kind of give us a shout out as well on there. And do stay to the end, as we mentioned, for the fast track package as well. So as I say, use the chat as we go, or at the end. We can do both. So I'll pass over to Chris.
Yeah, perfect. So plenty of time for questions as well. So hey everyone. So yeah, just to introduce myself. So I'm a senior account exec at Loyalty Line. So my role is very much working with people pre-loyalty launch often, or they might be working with a different type of provider or not giving loyalty that much thought. Most of the time, just helping to shape strategy, understand how best can we sort of align to their goals as well. But today we're really going to be talking about why people should be focusing on loyalty in the run-up to this peak season. And obviously, we're probably going to be seen pretty biased when we say loyalty should be your #1 priority this period. But we made sure to ask customers for an independent opinion, and luckily, turns out they agree. So why is your loyalty program going to be your vehicle for success this Black Friday, Cyber Monday? And we're going to be using that analogy quite a lot, and you'll see why. Because it's going to help you drive those repeat or repeak purchases from your existing customers. So the ones that are easiest to convert, they already know your brand, the ones that are less likely to demand discounts, and the ones that typically spend more per transaction. And how do we know this is true? Because customers told us. They told us, well, 78% of customers told us that they're going to return to a brand if they can join or engage with a loyalty program. So if you haven't got one already, that's why you need one. 83% of them said they're going to prioritize the brands where they've already got loyalty points and rewards. So again, if you can engage those existing customers. And 80% said they're going to prioritize brands that are going to be offering VIP experiences. So discounts aside, park those for now, thinking about what other, going beyond discounts, what else can we do to engage customers? And I hear this a lot, and I know what some of people are probably thinking is it's already September. It's less than 2 months away from Black Friday. It's probably way too late to start thinking about loyalty program, right? We should have done this a few months ago. Not the case. I talked to a lot of stores in the run up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or even just the Q4 peak. And frankly, it's never too late to launch a program that's going to help you win back customers during and after the period as well. The earlier you start, the more you can re-engage your returning customers before the sales season even comes around. It's a little bit like opening an investment account, right? The best time to start was yesterday. Second best time to start is now. But you've got to think longer term as well, because usually the holiday period is one of your biggest times for acquisition. When I see sales volume data from brands, it's often, I see a huge spike in Q4 and I say, okay, what's going on here? Is this returning or existing customers, new customers even? A lot of the time it's brand new customers. But we know statistically those holiday shoppers have got a lower lifetime value. They're more shopping around for discounts, they're less engaged. So we want you to have the best possible chance of retaining them heading into next year as possible. Our customer success team were always telling us as well, it's best to start simple with a loyalty program and you can build on it over time. If you imagine if you launched a program this quarter, next quarter and going into a quieter time, you can have loads of data you can sort of start to base a lot of decisions and strategy around. So with that all in mind, I'm going to talk you through why it's not too late and what quick wins you should prioritize to squeeze the maximum impact out of your program before the sales starts. So over the next few minutes, or quite a few minutes, I'm going to talk about how to get more members enrolled, so both before and during the sale, so you can carry on driving repeat purchases from them over time. Building up points balances, how to get customers into a position where they've got points and rewards to use before the sales start. VIP experiences, so how to give your customers or your most valuable customers a really great experience that they want to return and relive throughout the year. And then after Black Friday, how your loyalty program can help you keep in touch and reconvert all the new customers you acquire over the sales period. So start from the beginning with enrollment. What we want to absolutely avoid is customers using your guest checkout. It's not helpful. You're not getting any data. They're not engaging with you. So The good news is that 50% of customers say they're more likely to join a loyalty program during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Happy days. So you're going to have lots of opportunity to bring new members on board and reduce those guest checkouts. However, what if before the sale started, you had a bank of members, all with points and rewards they were ready to use for the weekend purchases that they've been waiting to make? So before the peak period comes around, get members enrolled into your program by incentivizing them with points. That's pretty simple. The crucial thing here is that we start to give them enough points through various different activities up front that with the first purchase, they've immediately got enough points to unlock for their first reward. And that's what's going to, that reward hook is going to keep them, is going to bring them back sooner to shop again. So how can we get people signed up in the first place? Well, obviously the first one is incentivizing that with points, pretty simple. But then we can start thinking about on-site notifications, for example, just notifying and signposting the customer to your loyalty program to make sure they're even aware of it. Honestly, so many brands that I see with loyalty programs, it's just buried at the bottom of the website, or it just looks like an afterthought of the site. Put it front and center, make sure customers know about it, shout about it on social media if you're doing a launch or anything like that. Make sure that's tied into your loyalty program. The other side of that is with post-purchase communications. And if anyone's got a loyalty program already, I'm sure you're pushing out loyalty emails. If you're not, absolutely do that. Make sure that you're targeting customers that are not signing up, not enrolling in your loyalty program, making sure they know what they're missing out on, knowing what points they would have got on that purchase if they had signed up. And if they return and create an account, give them those points retrospectively and apply that to them to say, you've got 7 days to claim these points. Make sure you don't lose them. A brand I think does this really, really well, and a favorite loyalty program of mine actually is Waterdrop. So not only do they not offer basically any discounts as their program, and it's incredibly effective, but they just communicate the value proposition really, really well. It should be a no-brainer for customers to sign up and create an account even before they make that first purchase, because they're not going to want to miss out on that. So they're offering incentive for signing up and then communicating what the customer actually gets out of the program. Next up, if we think, okay, great, we've got a customer signed up, how do we then start driving engagement? And we know that customers are going to be like I said earlier, prioritizing those brands that they've got points and rewards with already. So how do we get them to build up those points? So first of all, we always recommend giving members lots of ways to engage with your program and earn points without making a purchase. So offering points in return for social media follows, newsletter signups, SMS signups, even maybe reading some of your blog posts, learning about your brand, and more ways to sort of build more of an emotional connection rather than just saying, okay, great, make a purchase straight away. The more you can obviously funnel people into kind of learning more about your brand and where you are, i.e. Instagram, etc., TikTok, the more you're going to be able to get those messages out in front of people and help them get a reward sooner. And like I mentioned, in terms of other ways for customers to earn points, I'm seeing quite a lot of brands incentivizing things as a way to collect more first and zero party data as well. So there's kind of a win on both sides. Things for like completing quizzes on things like skin type, hair type, dietary requirements. Have you got a dog or a cat? Lots of things like that they can then use to tailor those communications later in their emails and their SMS to make for a much more personalized experience to that customer. We're also seeing brands utilizing our review integrations to good effect here as well. So incentivizing different types of reviews, maybe photo reviews, company reviews, all in exchange for points. So obviously they're getting a reward sooner, but you're getting a good influx of UGC and advocacy that is then going to impact on potentially hundreds of other customers that are browsing your site as well. And finally, there's still time definitely to run things like double points or points multiplier campaigns for members before the peak arrives. So you could even do things like bonus points on products or collections, maybe ones that aren't selling as well as you'd like. Or if you'd like to highlight a new product release, a lot of people lean on new product releases at this time of the year to re-engage existing customers. So why not highlight those, give them double points or triple points, or even just a flat sort of bonus point to highlight that collection as well. So that's definitely something I'd recommend there. Probably going back to what I was saying earlier about the data collection and personalization piece, my favorite example of that is always Edgard & Cooper. It's a pet food company that we've worked with for quite some time now. Again, probably one of my other favorite programs, but they're collecting a lot of information around who their customer is, understanding, do you have a dog or a cat, a big dog, small cat, understanding who the brand is and getting more of that emotional tie-in up front. Okay, great. So we've got a customer signed up. We've got them starting to earn some points. What about customers that are already later, maybe in the funnel, sort of they've made a couple of purchases, we want to engage them. What sort of experiences are they looking for, and how do we really drive those types of repeat purchases and turn it up? So you're going to have some of those clear segments. You're going to have your most valuable customers, probably a segment of loyal customers already. So those that are spending quite a lot with you regularly, and then probably those that need a bit of a nudge as well, a bit of TLC. So the good news is for those customers, VIP experiences, so not just discounts, is something that customers definitely want this peak period. So something that's going to help you to boost both of those segments ahead of sales. I always my go-to for this is a tier program setup. They're really successful because they create that sense of aspiration, drive members to engage more so they can unlock bigger and better rewards and opportunities. So I definitely recommend getting your tiers set up ahead of the peak period because they're going to give your existing customers more reasons to return. They can think about, okay, what's the value proposition of my return on investment for coming back more regularly with you, as opposed to potentially a similar product elsewhere with one of your competitors. We could also look at when you launch tiers, putting customers into a higher tier to start with. You might look at your segment your annual spend and do it based on that. You might just take your top 10% and put them in one of the higher tiers, maybe the one just below your top tier, so they've still got something to shoot for. And then you can obviously communicate that to them, push that out through your emails, through SMS to say, you're in this tier. Thank you so much for being a loyal customer. Go check out what experiences are on offer. We'd love to know what you think. But don't forget, at the next tier, you're going to get this. And that sort of takes me to my next point. When we think about those experiential rewards, when I was saying things above and beyond discounts, we're talking things like early access to sales, first look at new products, the opportunity to attend launch events or join focus groups, seeing a lot of that. And I think the best thing about these is they don't really necessarily cost you anything from a margin perspective. It's much better than offering a discount or even a shipping-based reward. But members are going to work really hard to unlock them as well. The perk that customers really, really want, though, unfortunately, is free shipping. So access to free shipping will motivate 81% of customers to return to a store they already know over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Sorry, that's the Amazon effect for you, I suppose. And I know it can be really expensive to offer that to everyone. So to lessen that impact on margin, I always recommend, when you're talking about shipping rewards, including those for higher tier customers that have basically earned the right to have free shipping, or you might just tie that more so into returns as well, to make sure that it's not kind of lower value customers that are just hemorrhaging your returns. But definitely make sure you highlight, if you're running anything around shipping rewards or fast track shipping, next day shipping, etc., make sure you're highlighting that in your comms. This example, if you want to take a look at their program, is a fashion apparel company called Opoly. And I thought I'd include this here. I just really like how they've staggered their tiers. This is their top 2 tiers out of 4. And it provides a really good progression amongst that, most all around experiential things. So triple points days, unlocking those at the top tier, or a VIP phone line, actually, which is quite nice, adds to that kind of exclusivity effect. And we talked a lot about the run up to the peak period, but we all know that there's a lot of work that goes on long past Black Friday or Cyber Monday themselves. So the good news is that you'll have done a lot of the legwork with your loyalty program to retain all of those new customers you acquired during that period. We know that people love personalization, and the loyalty data you're going to have gotten over that period will help give you so much ammunition to personalize marketing messages as things start to die down post sales season. The best brands that are using Loyalty Line, the ones that are getting the best ROI, are really taking all of that loyalty data, maybe looking at where customers are dropping off, or actually understanding how much more value is a redeeming member to us. Can we shorten that time to redeeming a reward, for instance, and making sure that's all being communicated out into their communications. So thinking about automated emails to remind customers what rewards they've got, maybe on a monthly sort of statement type email, or just as soon as they've unlocked a reward, making sure that sort of message goes out to customers. So what we want to avoid is obviously letting customers forget about you as it comes either into Christmas or into the new year as well. So we want to try and maybe fight some of that seasonality that a lot of people see as well. We also see quite a lot of people doing, again, sort of double or triple points potentially, or different sort of campaigns tied to loyalty outside of the typical holiday calendar, as a way to sort of fight some of that seasonality. But we can think about sort of making sure customers know maybe they're sort of close to a tier upgrade or something like that. We can send out sort of nudges and things around that to make sure that if they're close to a tier upgrade, then they're just very close, and this is the next thing they're going to unlock as well. We could also think about putting expiry on offers, or just running sort of limited time campaigns to make sure that the customers have got to come back within that time frame. And last but not least, think about maybe surprise and delight campaigns and re-engage customers once those sales are done. So have a look at the data over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Did your loyal customers come back and repeat purchase as you expected? Or do you have some that maybe didn't, that you need to win back before they churn? So look at your loyalty and repeat purchase data to understand who needs a little bit of a nudge in the right direction, and maybe surprise and delight them by crediting them with enough points to unlock another reward, and obviously communicate that they've got that. Sit back and watch as they come back to redeem that with their next purchase. So last but not least, how can we actually help you get set up to take advantage of this peak season? So we are introducing something called our Black Friday, Cyber Monday Fast Track package. So any merchant signing up ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday will get a free integrated loyalty page built using your assets to look and feel on brand. And we're also going to give you a 4-step prioritization plan to help you make sure you stay on track and tick off the most important things that are going to deliver success this season. So a quick example of what this looks like, and actually someone I worked with, it's well over a year ago now, but yeah, integrated into your site, rather than just a turnkey widget or anything like that. So if this is something you're interested in, email me. I'm at chris.burr@loyaltyline.com. And I've got my contact details on the next page. And yeah, I'd love to speak to anyone. I think that's it from me. I'll save my voice now. So yeah, back to you in the studio, Rob. We'll check the Q&A.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for that. Yeah, lots to do for Black Friday, but you've made it look super simple. So yeah. So do we have any questions from the attendees? We do have a couple of questions that came in from our social media, which we can go through in a second. If we haven't got any questions.
Yeah, there's a couple in the chat, actually.
Oh, we go from Nina. Nina says, if you're launching quickly, can you get away with just having 2 tiers to begin with? Thanks, Nina.
2 tiers to begin with. So basically, I see a few of these things. I mean, my go-to would be 3 tiers. I don't see there any difference really in terms of program lift or time to launch doing 2 tiers or 3 tiers, to be honest. 2 tiers you can definitely do. There's some good use cases for that, i.e. if you have potentially a subscription type product, then a non-subscription versus subscription tier can work really nicely. I've seen really good loyalty programs built around effectively just having a subscription tier as the way to get access to rewards and benefits to kind of promote people into subscriptions. I would say a 3 or 4 tier setup works better for your fashion apparel stores or something like that, where there is more aspiration as part of that, or basically anything that kind of falls outside of subscriptions.
Great, thanks, Chris. And just a couple more questions that we had from social. So one was, can I set up my Klaviyo integration before Black Friday?
Oh yeah, definitely. Klaviyo is one of our top partners. So it's completely out of the box, very, very easy. It just depends on how much depth you want to go into. You can sort of open a bit of a box there, I suppose, in terms of how many flows you might want to set up, or how much loyalty detail. But we've got guides around, okay, if you're going to start with Klaviyo, these are the essential flows. These are what you need to focus on. We've got a whole Pinterest board even of emails people have designed as well. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, good stuff. And then lastly, it's a question here about losing money and giving away 2 points. So how do brands ever lose money on giving away too many points? How can we avoid that? Any ideas there, Chris?
Just making sure I understand the question. So a lot of people sometimes get a bit concerned around, or their finance team gets concerned around, having outstanding points liability, which potentially the questions around. So I'll answer that. Yes, a couple of things that we can do there. So we can set points to expire. I don't recommend a shorter time period than 6 months, because that's quite an aggressive play if you're saying you've got a month to use these points, or use them or lose them, basically. But definitely has a place to make sure that customers are resetting those points and refreshing them. And you can obviously communicate. I think actually points expiry is probably one of our most clicked through email types, because who wants to lose their points? So yeah, that's definitely one way.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Chris. That's all the questions for today. And so hopefully this made kind of the idea of getting ready for Black Friday a little bit easier. And look out for the webinar on the website, but also get in touch by booking a demo if you want to hear more from us. But good luck with your Black Friday plans, and then we can
Okay,
help you get there. Bye bye.
Perfect. Thanks. Bye.